Alright, in that last video, I was banging out this preform, and now I'm going to do a little explaining. I didn't want to do any talking in that last video. Most of you guys are getting to this stage, and from here, I know this is basically the stage I was getting a lot of times, and would then have problems from here. It's basically clean, but then in doing my final passes, I would mess it all up. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a walkthrough here of how I finish out a preform. Now, if you guys aren't getting to this stage and you're still working on preforms, I encourage you to keep working and come back to this video once you feel like you've banged them out. Maybe spend like 2 or 3 days just knocking out, you know, good preforms, and then come watch this video and see if you have any luck. So first thing we want to look at is these edges, and I've got places where there's remnants of previous platforms that might be too stout for the next tool we're going to use, and I've got areas that are really paper thin and kind of there's just nothing there to hit on. So we need to really take a couple good passes around this whole thing on both faces with pressure, or you can use a scrunching stone. I'm going to go ahead and just use this issue stick that I've had sitting in the sun. I got this thing, got a new bit in here I want to try out, so here I'll go ahead and wear her in. So what I'm doing is I'm going along these ridges and I'm taking what we call blender flakes, and these first two I was able to push in, but only push in as far as your ridges go. You don't want to really try and do any thinning right now. Just let the flake do the work, let the platform do the work. Only push hard enough so that you're actually initiating a flake and not, you know, really just crushing something. And that's it right there. So now you can see I've flaked on this face. I've really cleaned this up nicely. I've got a little bit of a hinge here from the other side, but that'll clean up all right. And I'm building convexity. That's the most important thing when you want to start getting them real thin. You always have to have convexity. It just gets more and more tedious and gradual. You don't have a big central median ridge. And where this edge is really paper thin, I'm not pushing in. I'm doing what's called a chamfer flake. Okay, what I was taught is there's an ishi flake, a flake where you're really trying to push inward and send flake travel across the piece. That was just what it was called, an ishi flake, because it's really exacerbated with an ishi stick. You generally are trying to thin with pressure. And then there's a chamfering flake, which, you know, from woodworking or anything else, chamfering is just basically beveling an edge, just turning the edge, as we say in flint knapping. So that's really all I'm doing. I've got one spot now right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and grind that a little bit to take the sharp edge off that platform. And you can see that's a nice little platform, but I don't need to hit it hard or push it hard. It doesn't need to go far. I'm just blending. that's this edge here, and that shaped it up real nice. Now I'm going to do this side. I'll get too buck wild and, you know, start going crazy, because bear in mind we are going to come back and hit this with more percussion. So just kind of mull it over and get everything spaced out nicely. You don't want to lose all your ridges. Don't smooth it out totally. I mean, I guess you could, and then just put a new flake pattern over the one you got, but base some good attention. Okay. We'll be ready for round 2 percussion.